Welcome to the Ultimate Body Language Guide for the Hands and Fingers Part 2. If you'd like to find Part 1, you can do so in the description box below. In today's video, we're going to continue to go over everything there is to know about the hands and fingers. All of this information is taken directly from the Dictionary of Body Language by Joe Navarro. Please support him and his work by checking out his book. Now, before we get started, I'd like to give a quick shout out to the sponsors of today's video, Morning Brew. Morning Brew is a free daily newsletter that arrives in your email inbox from Monday to Sunday. They compile the most important news of the day into a simple and easy to read email that you can consume in less than 5 minutes. Prior to using Morning Brew, I would have wasted a ton of time scrolling through social media trying to get the news. They saved me a whole bunch of time by compiling it all for me. Last week, they updated me on the Q1 earnings of companies like Facebook, Google, and YouTube. This information is helpful because it allows me to stay on top of trends when it comes to my big picture thinking. Morning Brew is completely free with no strings attached, and it only takes 15 seconds to sign up. Just click on the link in the description box below and enter your email, and that's it. You'll start receiving a daily newsletter. With that being said, let's begin. Thumbs touching. When the hands are together and the person is playing around with their thumbs, whether it's using one to massage the other or by having them twirl around each other in circles. This is a pacifying behavior that is often used when people are feeling a bit anxious or stressed out. It is also used as a way to pass time while waiting for something. Finger closeness. When someone feels scared or concerned, they will instinctively bring their fingers closer together, closing the gaps that naturally exist between fingers. Sometimes they will even close their hands into a fist. This is a natural response to any perceived threat. Our body wants to reduce the chances of injury to any of our fingers if we were to get into a fight. It's also common to see people hiding their thumbs under their fingers, just like how dogs tuck their ears down when scared. Thumb distance. On the other hand, this rule applies the other way around, especially when it comes to the thumb. The more distance there is between the thumb and the other fingers, the more confident someone is currently feeling. Holding onto furniture. This is when someone uses their hands to hold onto any piece of furniture, whether it be the edge of a table or even the armrest of a chair. This is actually a sign of doubt and insecurity, especially if they are declaring something. Joe Navarro reports seeing this sign quite often when someone is forced to say something that they don't want to say. Clinging. This is often seen in kids who will cling onto the clothing of relatives to feel more secure and comfortable. This behavior is also seen in adults, usually with other soft objects like blankets, pillows, stuffed animals, etc. In these cases, it's also used for comfort. Finger pointing. Most people don't enjoy having a finger pointed at them because it's usually used when accusing someone of something bad. If you want to address someone, it's better to use your entire hand with your palms up to point at them. Finger jabbing. Now, if you see a person pointing at someone and then jabbing this finger towards them back and forth, this is usually a sign of a huge problem and that a fight is about to happen. Nail biting. This is a pacifying behavior used to relieve stress. It's usually seen in people who are insecure. The more extreme the nail biting, the higher the levels of stress this person is currently feeling. Finger tapping. This is when someone taps on a table or their leg in a repetitive motion. This is usually a sign of impatience. They might be waiting for someone to show up, or they might be waiting for someone to finish speaking so that they can speak. Hands in pocket. This is usually done out of comfort. However, it is important to note that this can make you seem more suspicious and will tend to cause people to trust you less. Massaging closed fist. This is when one hand is closed in a fist and the other hand is used to massage it. This is usually seen when someone is extremely worried, often seen in poker players and stock traders who are about to lose a lot of money. Speaker's fist. This is when someone makes a fist and moves it like a hammer while speaking. This is usually a sign that this person has a lot of pent-up emotions that they are trying to express or that they are feeling a lot of energy in the words that they are saying. Teepee Finger Rub. This is when someone interlaces their fingers and then rubs the fingers back and forth against each other. This is a sign that something is very wrong or that someone is extremely stressed, much more so than the other body language signs that we've covered in this video. Interlaced fingers, palms pushing. This is when someone interlaces their fingers and then pushes the palm of their hand in any of the following directions. They could be pushing it away to crack their knuckles, they could be pushing it up to their face, or they could be pushing it straight down to their crotch. This is usually a way for people to relieve stress. It is often seen after traumatic experiences. Preening. This is any sort of body language movement that you make to fix yourself, such as adjusting your tie, moving your bracelet, fixing your shirt, fixing your hair, or even reapplying lipstick. We do this when we're in a social situation with people that we want to impress. Hair preening is especially common when we are interested in someone nearby. We will often move our hair to increase the chances of getting noticed by our romantic interest. Joe Navarro brings up an interesting fun fact here. When attorneys pull on their jacket to make it look cleaner as the jury enters the room, they are perceived as more likable. This just goes to show that even the smallest details when it comes to first impressions matter a lot. Dismissive preening. This is another form of preening that is actually used to dismiss and disrespect the person you are interacting with. For example, when a child is cleaning their nails or picking lint off of their t-shirt while their parent is lecturing them about something. You definitely should not do this when you're having a serious conversation with anyone. Hand on leg with elbow out. This is when someone is sitting down with their hand on their leg, but with their elbow jutting out. This is usually a sign of high levels of confidence. It is a territorial display, often used to claim up more space. Nail flicking. This is when someone starts to curl the fingers on one of their hands and flick their nails against their thumb. This is usually done when someone is nervous or stressed. You should be careful if you often do this because this movement and sound can be perceived as annoying for others. Namaste. This is when someone places their palms together in front of their chest with their elbows out and makes a slight bowing movement. This is often seen in South Asian countries like India, Nepal, and Thailand. This is used as a formal greeting and to show tremendous amounts of respect for someone. Hand holding. As a child, we tend to hold hands with our parents and playmates. As we grow up, this movement is usually reserved for intimate relationships, family, and sometimes the closest of friends. The more often a couple holds hands, the more intimate and serious the relationship tends to be. You can also observe who the dominant person in a relationship is by looking at whose hands is on top. OK sign. This is when you hold the tip of your index finger and thumb to create a circle, or an OK sign. In the US, this means okay, yes, or that things are fine. However, in the Mediterranean, this sign is actually used to emphasize certain points while speaking. Politician's thumb. This is when you extend your arm and press your thumb against your curled index finger on the same hand. This movement is most commonly seen in the US by politicians, and it is used to drive in a point during a speech. Reluctance to touch with palm. This is when someone touches another person close to them with their fingers instead of their palms. It's usually an indicator of underlying issues. If a parent is seen doing this with their child, it could mean that they don't really care about this child. This goes for couples as well. Happy couples will often touch each other using their palms, while couples that have issues will tend to avoid this. Now, in order to practice your body language reading skills, I recommend you to re-watch this video while covering the text with the audio turned off and see if you can tell how the actors are feeling. Make sure to test yourself on the previous videos as well to make sure you internalize everything you've learned so far. In our next video, we'll be covering the midsection of the body, which includes the chest, torso, hips, and much more. The moment that video is released, I will add a link down below. Besides that, guys, stay tuned.